It's
Hi,
Friday.
darling. And it's Dress Up Friday. I've got my earrings on, but that's pretty much it. Anyone else? Debbie looks gorgeous with hers, obviously.
Yeah, but I thought, Harriet, you've got the lipstick. Yeah,
I have done a lippy, but that's every day, darling.
I want to ask you about lipstick. Sorry, my lipstick always comes off. I can never keep it on, and whatever I do, but the stay-on lipsticks make my lips feel a bit weird. You know that, don't they? They're a bit sort of.
Yeah, you have to get over it and just go with it. Yeah,
yes,
stay-on lipsticks are fabulous, and there's also the lip fix, which is fantastic. But Dee,
yes.
you're also dressed up, darling, and you've got a hat on, dear.
Of course, darling. As always, darling, I always dress up. A bit of a struggle actually today, though, because I thought it's Dress Up Friday, and I was looking through the wardrobe, and it was a little bit cold. Sometimes it's a bit sort of, so I put a little cardigan over this lovely top. Yeah, cardigan. But Sherry, you look lovely in red, darling.
Well, colour's always good, especially on a Friday, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's always good to have colour.
I think. Yeah, and forget dressing up. I can barely get dressed on a Friday.
Sherry, I want to see I always like to know what Sherry's got under her.
It's a little, can you see it?
Yeah, does it have sleeves?
Yes.
Does it have sleeves?
It doesn't have sleeves, so it's a no-no, but it's a very pretty dress, actually.
Oh,
and the funny thing is, I can really get in it, which has shocked me, because talking about dressing up, dressing now seems to be, you get up and you think, what am I going to, but every day I do, but it becomes such a difficult thing to do, doesn't it? You go, where am I going?
Yeah.
Nowhere.
No.
I'm not going anywhere. So what am I going to, but I always do. And then sometimes I don't go out.
I know.
Doesn't Teddy drag you out?
Yeah, but that's Teddy walking. I'm talking about going out for lunch with somebody fabulous.
Oh, yeah. Partying, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Lunch would do.
It would, actually. What is that?
Anything. A Pret or something, just to go up a coffee and a sandwich.
Anything.
Yeah.
But we have got the date, haven't we? The 8th of March now.
Have we?
Well, that's when the schools go back.
Right.
Oh. So I'm assuming either he will go back to tiers, maybe. Tier 3 would be help, wouldn't it? A little bit. Things start to open and all these businesses won't be going out of business. I mean, that's what frustrates me, is that we've got to give them a chance to get some money back in.
Absolutely.
I just find it's such an irony. It's such an irony that they're called tears, because tears are what we shed all the blooming time.
All the time, yeah. You want to vent everything, don't you? You want to go out there and go, and you don't know how to do it. We need somebody to do that for us.
I know.
Yeah, the whole thing about Zoom is, it's nice seeing you girls, but it really feels like having sex without having an orgasm. There is no There's no end to it. There's no status.
I don't know what that is either. Sex or orgasm?
Yes. What's that? Do you know, Sherry? I don't know what they are.
Well, I thought she was speaking in Dutch, was it? Or
that's what I thought. Yeah.
Italian
language, certainly.
Swedish. Anyway, girls, I have got something. I've got something to cheer us up a little bit. Yes. Now, our next guest is one of the most fantastic new political figures online. He's just on the internet. He's swept the board. He's absolutely incredible. And if you don't know him, here is a little clip of what he does. This is Jonathan Pye.
Rishi Sunak defended the Prime Minister, saying that he had acted decisively in sending England into further restrictions, including school closures. Decisive? I mean, which Prime Minister is he talking about here? Decisive? Boris's entire COVID response from start to finish has been a tragedy of indecision. It's like a low-rent Hamlet. Decisive? 3 days before he cancelled Christmas, Boris was talking about how important it was not to cancel Christmas. Then he cancelled Christmas. There's no planning, no foresight. They make it up day by day, U-turn by U-turn, one empty platitude after the other, one incoherent national address from number 10 after another. Serious face, something in Latin, cheeky smile, hold hands tight in front of you, British pluck, something about a Greek myth, NHS.
Now I'd like to introduce my friend, aka Tom Walker, who is also known as Jonathan Pye. Tom, have you flown into the nest?
Yes, he's here.
I'm here.
There you are.
Tom,
Hello.
great to see you.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome, darling. I'm honestly, I'm so thrilled at your success. Really, it's been mind-blowing. But I would like to say that I was one of the first people to see you at the Edinburgh Festival in 2016. Can you tell me how you got there as Jonathan Pye? What happened? Because you were just an actor before.
I was just an actor. I wasn't just an actor. I was a very out of work actor. Yeah. I'd have this character in my head for ages, and it's one of those things, you know, when people who aren't in the business go, "Well, just create your own work," and you're like, "Yeah, it's not that easy."
Yeah.
But I decided to give up acting because I couldn't cope with being poor, and I couldn't cope with being, you know, in truth, the mental health of it was,
I agree.
you know, and I think
Totally.
I think in your 20s you're sort of supposed to struggle and get knocked down, and
Yeah.
I had 40 approaching, and it was like, I can't do this forever. But bizarrely, when you decide to give up, the jeopardy's gone, right? And it didn't matter anymore. So I just started putting these little YouTube clips out because it didn't matter if people liked them or not, because jeopardy was gone. And after a few weeks and I decided to do one a week for a few weeks, and 3 or 4 weeks into it, I suddenly got a phone call going, "That video that you just put out has been viewed 1 million times."
Wow.
Bang, 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 bang. And overnight, and I knew, because I'd had 15 or so years of not having any opportunities, I recognized the opportunity for what it was. And so I kept going with it. And then I was approached to do a live show, and I wasn't sure how it would work live. So I did a little version of the show in the Leicester Square Studio Theatre, which is about 80 seats. And the promoter that had put that on said, "You're going to Edinburgh with it," which was a baptism of fire, I have to say. And then cut to a year later, I took that show to the Palladium, and then that was it, you know.
Amazing.
So,
Amazing.
but I mean, I found Edinburgh very tough. It's the acting world. The way I always describe it, actors are nasty behind people's back. Comedians do it to your face. You know? It's real dog eat dog world, and I found it very difficult. Also in Edinburgh, you have to do one show every night. You get one night off over the month, and I didn't have those skills as a stand-up. I didn't know how to cope with heckling. I had none of that experience. I wasn't a club comic doing the round for 15 years. So it was a real baptism of fire. So I didn't particularly enjoy that first live show. I'm now on doing my third, I finished, well, last year before last now, my third live show. And it's now that I'm starting to really enjoy touring and enjoy.
How do you cope with hecklers?
Well, luckily my alter ego is sweary and angry. So, I mean.
Of course, he's brilliant at it.
I think the thing is, it's different to being a club comic. If you go to a club, it's full of sort of, you know, stag do's or whatever, and everyone's drunk. People are generally on your side. I think the weird heckles that I normally get are people trying to help, you know, like, "Way!" or sort of,
Yeah.
You don't understand that they're tripping you up, but But
It's funny, Jonathan, because I've done a lot of after dinners and ladies' lunches, and believe me, you get hecklers there, but actually they're not aggressive and against you. They're trying to kind of go, "Yeah, well, I've done that as well," and you just go, "Okay, show me what you've got. Come on, let's see it then." You know what I mean?
Especially if you're in the middle, especially with Pye, because he's so fast.
Yes.
Yes.
It's machine gun, and someone just doing something, and you trip up, and you go. You obviously you don't want to show people the mechanics of what's going on.
Absolutely. Can I just say to you, Jonathan, that I have watched a lot of your interviews.
I'm Tom, by the way, but
he's Tom.
There you go. And this is exactly what I'm going to say, because when I watched Jonathan, and then I watched Tom. First of all, can I say, I think in this pandemic, you are really the voice of the people now. Even more so than ever. you're exactly what we want to go out and vent. We want to say what you say, but we're too scared and we wouldn't say it anyway, because Jonathan can say it.
Yeah.
But can Tom say it? Do Tom and Jonathan cross? And do you not like Jonathan sometimes because he actually can do it more than you can? And you go home and go, that bloody man, he can say what he wants. I can't.
Well, in a way, I can say what I want because I can put it into his mouth, you know.
Yes, but it's not you.
So there is a cathartic thing to it. But I mean, politically, me and Pi are obviously left-wing and don't like our present government. And also, we're not that keen on this, the liberal side of sort of identity politics and that obsession. So I'm taking the piss out of both sides, really, I suppose, which is kind of rare, I think, in this day and age. But I think where we differ is I'm not one of those people that goes to or likes to go to the pub and talk about politics and get on my high horse about politics. Right. That's what Pi's character is. He's that mate that you have that can't stop shouting about stories, and he's right about everything, and he can't not get angry about it. And it's like shit of a beer.
Yeah.
And you say to somebody, you always say, don't invite him again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't bring him to a dinner party. We do not want him in this house.
He's one of those people. He's one of those people that I think he's right most of the time, but being right isn't always the most important thing.
Exactly.
What you are. Being a nice person and listening to differing points of view is where I would come from more so than him.
But it's funny. Have you ever seen the film Dead of Night with Michael Redgrave?
I don't believe I have. Sorry.
Right, you must watch it. Michael Redgrave has a vent doll. It's in black and white. It's the most frightening film you'll ever watch in your life. And the vent doll eventually takes over his brain, his life, and the last shot is in a cell with the vent doll there, and the warden goes away, and the vent turns to him and goes, "What's the matter now?" It's just unbelievable. And when I watched you as Tom and Jonathan, I thought, does Jonathan actually take over Tom? Is Tom going to go to Jonathan, you've got to stop this, because I didn't mean it. I didn't mean you to say that. I'm creating a whole weird thing here.
I have had moments. I mean, you know, we've all had moments where we've lost it. And I do remember a couple of years ago losing it in HSBC at one of the first.
Oh, yeah.
Really going.
Well, then.
And then I suddenly realised as I left that 2 or 3 people had clocked me for who I am, and they couldn't work out, are there hidden cameras? Is he doing a thing? You know, I call it being pied. You can always tell when someone recognises me. You know what I mean? So there is that crossover. And obviously he comes from me, so I think there are parts of him that are an exaggeration of me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But we won't one day see you in a room somewhere and Jonathan going, I told you this would happen.
Just rocking back and forth going, and now the weather.
Yes.
Yeah. I think this is going to be the documentary that's going to happen. That's all I'm saying. Can I ask, darling, where did your first spirit of parody and mimicking the style of people come from? Did you do it at school when you were little with teachers and things?
Well, I always want. No, I mean, I consider myself. It sounds very pretentious, but I consider myself an actor rather than a comic. Or comedian.
But instinctively, that acting talent comes. You know, I used to put on endless shows for my parents. It's something, the need to do that. Did that start at school? Were you just naturally funny always and stuff? Yeah,
that sort of performing instinct. And I suppose that the comedian in me, I mean, I was quite good at school. I was quite academic at school, which really happens if you're naughty. If you're getting reasonable grades, but you're naughty, you're fine. But also that instinct, which is very much part of my instinct when I'm writing the comedy, is you could get away with murder with a teacher if what you said to them was cheeky, but it made them laugh before they got annoyed with you.
That's what I wanted to know. Yeah.
Their instinct is to laugh, and then they go, right, get out. it completely undermines their punishment if you can make them. And I think that's where comedy, I mean, the fine line between what one person finds funny and what one person finds offensive, it's wafer thin, right? So I think a lot of and I can do that much more in my live shows than I can on the online stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, and talking about your live shows,
live's good.
Talking about your live shows, you have a big tour, don't you? That was cancelled last year, obviously. What's happening this year, darling? Are they starting again? What's happening?
Well, yeah, who knows? But so I was supposed to. I did my last tour, the fake news tour, the year before last, the end of 2019, and then it was such a success. I added some dates for around Easter last year.
Yeah,
that cancelled. Then I moved it to the summer. Then I moved it to the autumn, and then so what we decided to do was I've now pushed it back to next October and November, this coming October and November. And I think if we're not out the other end of it, then we're in serious trouble. But I will just keep pushing it back until we can do it, really. You know,
Do you love the feeling of it being live as opposed to film, that sense of connection with the audience? Do you miss that, especially in lockdown now, that instantaneous fix?
There is an element of that. Again, without being too pretentious, it's much more artistically rewarding. The stuff that I put out online, it's disposable, right? Because commenting on what happened maybe that week or in the last week. So I did something last week about Trump's last day.
Yeah.
I happened to watch a bit of it again yesterday, and it's out of date. It took me a week.
Yes.
Of course.
Old news, you know. Whereas, you know, with the live shows, of course, you have to update it to keep it relevant. But the piece as a whole, there is always a story there. There's always a beginning, and middle, end, and also because you perform it, you rehearse it for a couple of months. So you do 10, 15, 20 warm-up shows, and then you do 30, 40, 50 dates. So you perfect it, and also once it's perfected, then you can walk on stage and you can enjoy it, and you can it. And so I miss that. Whereas with the you know, the online stuff, you write it, you learn it, put it out, you forget.
I'm done. Is there one last thing about the live show? Do you have go-to heckling responses?
Well, I know I find it generally, because I take the show seriously, and also it's worth reminding people that the only person that's enjoying that heckle is you, and everyone else in the audience is here to watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
that's very true.
If it's well-meaning, you kind of go, "Oh, you put me off there," and you're just honest with me. Sorry, you put me off there, and then they feel small, but not in a horrible way, and then you keep going. But if someone is determined to sabotage the show, you can identify them pretty quickly. And I've got a little signal with my guy that I go, and also the front of house staff are briefed. If I go out, I'm not kidding. You get them out.
Yeah, right, brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been there.
Fantastic. Well, Tom, you know, I have to say, you're such a creative, but you've talked about, you know, your creativity and how you enjoy creating characters, and major success, obviously, with Jonathan Pye. But is there anything that you want to do in the future? Is there anything else that you feel you aspire to do in the future?
Well, I want to be an actor. I mean, I would love the luxury of someone handing me a script and going, "There you go, learn that," and you go, "That's all I have to do is learn it."
Yes, please.
Yes.
We're all, you know, and that would be lovely. You know, and I came to myself. I think I'll sit Pye, you know, on the bench for a couple of years, but you know, his draw, because politics is always happening. It's difficult to do that.
Yes.
I think last year was going to be my let's put him on the bench for a year and see if I can get any work. But of course, then this all happened, you know.
So, but you're writing, Tom. You write as well, don't? I mean, so you're, you know. Perhaps have you thought about writing a part for yourself?
Well, I mean, you say that, so I have been writing over the last 3 or 4 months a comedy drama, written myself a juicy role in it, obviously.
Of course.
Good. I would hope so.
Standard.
Nothing to do with Pye, nothing to do with politics. And that's been really refreshing. Whether I can ever get it made or not is a different matter. But that's been really nice to just do something that, again, when the jeopardy isn't there, you know. But there's also that horrible thing of, and I think we've all feel it during the pandemic more so than we normally do. You're writing something, or you decide to learn a language, or I'm going to learn how to do that, and there's something about this pandemic that 10 minutes into it, you go, oh, what's the bloody point?
No, I agree with you. You do that all the time, What's the bloody point?
But Tom, I think
can't do that.
I honestly think you know, you've got that sort of thing around you now. You're majorly successful with Jonathan Pie. Your series is going to be made, and it's going to be a success, and you're going to come back and promote it with Wonderbirds. I'm telling you that now.
Boom. All right, I'll give you that.
All right. Tom, can I say that I think you should go on as Jonathan on GMB and take on Piers Morgan?
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
What about that
idea?
I think we should promote you onto that, and I think you should go on and take him on.
All right.
Jonathan should.
Well, I should enjoy that. Certainly.
Thrown down. Come on, Piers. Put your money where your mouth is.
That's
exactly.
Right.
Oh, I'd love to see that. That would just be brilliant television.
That would win every award. You have to do it.
All right.
You have to do it.
We look forward to that.
Yeah,
we'll be there behind you.
Yeah, let's reverse this, Tom. The play that you're writing, the series you're writing, are there parts for all of us in it?
Well, all right. Well, I can. There is the part of my. Oh no. I mean, yeah. I mean, basically, I'll have to audition all four of
Your
you.
grandmother.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it'll be. And you can just fight it out between you.
Okay.
No pressure there.
Yeah.
Job share.
Yeah, I think
share.
that could be.
Job share.
They could.
But if it's to play your mother, Tom, I'm the oldest, so I have to get the job.
All right, fair enough.
End of story. End of story. Really.
Yeah, I'll play your sister.
Very well. All right. Okay.
Tom, how many people? What has been your biggest video so far? How many people have watched? How many millions?
I did. Well, this is bizarre, and it sounds like I'm just plucking it out the air, but I'm not. But I did something a few days after Trump was elected. And this was the thing, I'd already had a few viral hits, but this was the thing that just suddenly just changed the game a bit. And I did something about, and I thought, we were all stunned about Trump, and I never really got over it. You know, like people, but you know, like people are a bit like that with Brexit. And with me, Brexit, it took me a couple of days to go, well, I didn't see that coming, but we probably didn't do that, right? Because that's what people voted for. With Trump, the whole 4 years, he was stood behind that seal of the president, and every time I went, this can't be right, you know. Anyway, a couple of days after he got elected, I thought, well, I'm going to have 4 years to do what Pie does best to Trump. I'm going to attack Hillary for being such an appalling candidate to lose to him, and I believe that, you know, I think a different candidate could easily have beaten Trump. And that went silly viral, and that got viewed 150 million times.
Oh, wow.
About it is of any article, of any piece of commentary, of any clip to do with that, you know, a horrific event. It was probably seen more than any other thing, you know?
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
But I'm here to tell you, Tom, Jonathan Pie and Piers Morgan will smash it.
But yeah,
you've got to do it.
Exactly. And you heard it here first with Sherry Hewson.
I'm going to tell them.
Oh, thanks, darling. It's so lovely to meet you and for you to be on here with us, Wonderbirds. And we want you to come back very, very soon, even before your new series is out.
Of course. And it's been lovely. And congratulations on Wonderbirds. It's gone from strength to strength. And
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Very much, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, darling. Lovely to see you.
See
See
you.
you, Debbie.
soon.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
darling. Well, that set me up for Friday.
Don't you think that's a
was
brilliant
fantastic.
idea?
Oh my God, Sherry, that's the best.
Yeah.
Do you know what, Sherry? You should phone them up immediately. I think it's the most brilliant idea.
Yeah, I'm going to.
I love it. Love that idea.
It's made my Friday. I feel great now. Fantastic.
Yeah, me too. That's really, really cheered me up.
What television that would make? Wouldn't that make good television?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Jonathan Pye and Piers Morgan.
I'm so glad. Isn't it lovely when one of your mates manages to become this sort of
I
massive
know.
star? It's
Yes,
really
massive.
lovely. From the King's Head in Islington with all the fleas behind in one little dressing room.
Never again.
I remember they used to do sausage and mash there.
Yeah,
that
but
was
they
always
used
a
to
bit
also, you also
dubious.
used to pay with real money, didn't you? Old money.
Yeah, the tills, and he used to have 12 and sixpence, didn't
That's
it?
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Darlings,
I
listen,
know.
tomorrow we've got Richard, and I'm going to say the words wine.
Wines with stories.
And that's not and that's not you talking as normal. I mean the liquid kind.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely.
Woo.
Yes.
Okay,
Cheers.
we'll
Well
see you
done.
tomorrow, girls.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.